Redefining stereotypes while revitalizing education. Dr. Bri Moore, founder of 3Ls based in Oakland, California, joins us this week to discuss how she has and continues to disrupt educational stereotypes while uplifting and changing the lives of dozens of students in one of the most disadvantaged communities in Oakland. More on that coming up soon.
Welcome to Entrepreneurship is a Marathon, a podcast about how you can grow a profit-producing, purpose-driven business without burnout. We don't need more people starting businesses. We need more people continuing. Each week, we'll deliver the latest and greatest tips, tricks, and strategies for you to revive, grow, and scale your business. Now, here's your host, consultant, professor, and the business defibrillator, Vanessa Zammi.
It is the holiday season this week, so we want to take a moment to highlight a wonderful nonprofit organization doing amazing awarded work in their community. Dr. Sabrina Bri Moore, founder of 3Ls, is joining us tonight to discuss how she has and continues to disrupt educational stereotypes in and around her community. But as you know, for those who may not be familiar, every episode, as we do in every episode, we ask the question, what's been your win of the week? So if you're listening, whether you're listening on the podcast or whether you're watching us live here on LinkedIn, Facebook, or on YouTube, I want you to comment, type in the comments, what has been your win of the week? Or think to yourself, what has been your win of the week? It could be a personal win. It could be a business win. And why do we do this every episode? Because entrepreneurship is a marathon, right? And it could be very, very easy to think about, oh my God, this didn't work out. That didn't happen. OMG, the world is, oh my gosh.
All the things.
But all the things. But ultimately, right, there's probably something good that's somewhere in the last 7 days, right? The last 7 days that you can celebrate and say, yes, I did that. That did happen because I am awesome and I am running this marathon. So what has been your win of the week? It could be personal, it could be business, but what has been your win of the week? Share with us in the comments if you're watching live or even if you're watching a replay. We'll start with our guest. Dr. Bri, what has been your win of the week?
I don't know. That's a great question. I was just thinking the win of the week is both personal and professional to me, but I think everything is that's a mishmash of my life. So last Friday, it was in the last 7 days, I took a group of boys, our 3Ls Boys Club, to see Wakanda. So me and 11 Black and brown boys together went out to the movies. I bought them shirts. We got a van. We got popcorn. We got all the things. We had the food delivered to their seats. And just to have an opportunity to take my boys out and let them just be kids and enjoy the movie. And they were making noises. And the thing I think that was the highlight is that I thought people were going to start to shush them because they were excited. They were like, just the whole thing. And I think their energy was fueling the theater. So people were leaning in and they would respond, the crowd would respond. So it's almost like they shifted the energy in the space just because they were being themselves. And I just love that as part of our work. You know, like what does it mean for our Black boys to be able to just be, you know?
I love that. Actually, we've been talking on the show a lot about authenticity within entrepreneurship and within the business space, but just like, so that's like a beautiful example. It's one of those things where and we'll probably get into more of that with your story as well too. It's like, how do you show up as yourself within your business and within your life in all different areas? And so I love that. And while you were watching a movie out in California, I was watching a movie here in Massachusetts. So look at that. So that was great. So doing the same thing without us even knowing it. But my win of the week, though, is that my win of the week is I saw that movie this Saturday, Wakanda Forever. Oh my God, great film. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. If you're listening to this after it's been in theaters for a bit, so it may not be in theaters anymore, maybe a time you watch this in 2023, that's okay. You can find it online somewhere probably, or when you go on the next flight. But ultimately, yes, watch that movie. It's a great film. And and Rihanna's song at the end. Okay. But yeah. So so what's been your win of the week? Type in the comments. Let us know. Let's celebrate together. And now I'm gonna share more about who is our guest, right? So Dr. Sabrina Bri Moore is the founder and director of 3Ls, Literacy, Leadership, and Liberation, an Oakland-based organization changing literacy outcomes one neighborhood at a time. She's a former teacher, principal, and now program director of systemic instructional review in Oakland, California, working in tandem for both the state and Alameda County Offices of Education in support of the Oakland Unified School District. When asked about who she is, Dr. Bri said, "Only after an MBA and a doctorate can I now laugh about the words, stereotypes, and statistics thrown at me in school." And let's start from there. So Dr. Bri, I've known her for like over a year now. You mentioned to me that you would hear things like "stupid Black girl," or "you're not smart enough," or "you can't read." You had a lot of those things when you were younger. And I imagine that played a big role in how 3Ls came to be. 3L standing for literacy, leadership, and liberation. Can you describe more for the listeners about that journey?
Yeah, I mean, like everything in my life is about literacy. I was one of those students who I graduated from high school, but I graduated not reading, not ready, not by any fault of mine or any by design. Let's just be clear. And so I was blessed with a manager, a Black female who saw how brilliant I am. And not that I didn't know I was brilliant, because I've always known that. My family made very clear that I was knew who I was, but I couldn't read. And I remember this manager at AT&T that taught me to read, that really like poured into me, like just everything that like changed my life. Being able to read changes your life. Literacy changes your life. And so having the opportunity to learn to read, and then she I would say forced now, but I just look back, just showed love and like kept telling me, apply to college, go to college, go to college. And I was like, no, I can't go to college. College is not for me. And went to college and graduated, walked the stage on a Saturday, quit my job on a Monday to become a teacher, to become a principal, and realizing that the system is doing what it's designed to do. And so how do we get out of that? We often talk about dismantling the system, but I don't know that necessarily is my work. My purpose is driven around what does it mean for us to empower the folks who are in the system, to change the system, to be the voice of the people. And so 3Ls, our work is around literacy liberation, to not empower, but be in power with parents and community to create literacy structures, to change the game one neighborhood at a time. What does it mean for every single person in the community to be literate? Our students, our moms, our pops, everybody. And for that to know that eventually leads to generational wealth. So that is my story in a very quick, short blurb.
Love it, love it, love it. And feel free to add even more. But ultimately, yes. And so I love that, even that point about generational wealth, right? And having, and sort of, because even here we talk about this show here on Entrepreneurs Marathon. A big part of our work here in Your Vision's Catalyst is really ensuring that people are, for those who may or may not be listening in depth to the intro that we have for this podcast and live show, but we say we don't need any more people starting businesses, but we need more people continuing businesses. And the reason why we say that is because, that generational wealth occurs when those assets can be passed on from generation to generation, right? It's not just starting the business and then closing it down 5 years later, but it's starting it and then continuing to prosper in your life and in your community. And even a lot of my clients, and even the work that you're doing, where it's you have the business, but your business is impacting the community in a great way, right? Because it's not just you are making money or whatever it is, but it's you are impacting the community. And so I love that piece. I can talk a little bit more about, I guess, how does 3Ls, like what are the services that you guys provide? You touched a little bit in the win where you mentioned about the boys club that you have, but what are some other ways or that you found most successful in this literacy liberation?
I mean, we do something no one else does. I know people say that. And I will be honest and say I've never in my life wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to work for somebody because I always wanted to make sure the paycheck is coming. And then this happened. Going back to what it means for me to be able to read, and how important that was for me, for my family, for our future, for all the things. I had an opportunity to sit at a table once with a woman who I just shared what would I want to be true? If I could create the best vision in this world, what would I want to be true for students in Oakland for around literacy, around reading? We have the citywide goal of strong readers by third grade. And if my work was to help that vision, to help that mission be true, what would it be? And I shared with her that I would want to have a program that supports parents, that supports students, that supports teachers and principals. And It sounds like this crazy, how do you do all of those kind of things? And that's 3Ls. 3Ls, we have our homework club that is a space for students to come, community members to come to do some reading, to do some homework, to do some growing there. We have our hub, which is a virtual reading program that happens every single night for our students TK to second grade to log on and get just systematic reading instruction, like structured literacy. We have our parent power, like our reading club for our parents. The parents come out on Saturdays. We do some reading workshops. We build different literacy kits to take home. We have principal coaching, which I provide and some of the other leaders provide the principals to be able to say, how do you observe for literacy learning? How do you ensure that you are creating structures, not just of engagement with families, but like at the table with families, designing for literacy that actually leads to outcomes that we want to be true for our community, for our students, for our families. And so our work is that, and it's designed with people and not as an add-on. Like, we're not going to come into a neighborhood to excavate all of your learning and then do something to you. We're going to do this with community. So we design for what it means to be anti-racist in this work, to lead in ways that are liberating, that are freeing, that actually give voice and power to the folks who are least served in our systems. Like, how do we do that? We do that in ways that create liberation, that create liberating structures and systems. And that's 3Ls. It's magic. It's everything I wish I would have had when I was a kid. I know. I
love it. You guys just hear the passion, right? You just hear the passion. I know. I love it. That's the passion is there. I love it. Yes. Yeah. And so if you couldn't already tell, right, Dr. Bri is clearly, passionate about her topic. I mean, I don't know if you could tell or hear it, but ultimately,
it's a thing. It's a real thing.
Love it. And so when we get back, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get more into what has been 3Ls and Dr. Bri's keys to success so far. I know there was a stat that you mentioned. What was it that you mentioned that you guys achieved this past year? With, I think it was like, there was something that you briefly mentioned it a little bit. But the work that you guys were recognized.
Y'all after the break.
Yes. Fantastic. That was great.
If you're a storefront business owner, salon owner, or brick and mortar shop owner, including a cafe, home decor, furniture, or clothing boutique, then listen up. We have some incredible discounted workshops at vzammy.com for our podcast listeners to help you increase your sales by 50%. If you are looking for more tips on reviving your business, make sure to visit our website, vzammy.com. That's vzamy.com. To register for our upcoming business growth workshop on staff management, financial management, and time management. It's your time to revive, grow, and scale your shop so you can go on that vacation and still have your shop thriving. Visit vzammy.com. That's V for Vanessa, Z for zebra, A for animal, M for money, Y as in yes.com. Visit vzammy.com for more details.
Yeah. So if you're looking to grow your business, reach out to me at vzammy.com. This episode's not about me. This is about Dr. Bri Moore and 3Ls, literacy, okay, liberation, and leadership. Yes. So right before the break, we were hearing Dr. Bri's passion. We're going to hear a little more of it as well, too. But we're asking the question, what has been your keys to success, right? So what was the stat that you mentioned in terms of how much you guys have improved literacy rates thus far in the district with the schools that you have helped?
For every, actually last year we were uniquely positioned in a neighborhood called Sabrina Park in Oakland. But what happened was this one school that actually took up all 5 of our programs was the only school in Oakland Unified that had growth for target student groups, for Black students, for students learning multiple languages, and for students experiencing homelessness, like the only school. So that says a lot about the work for schools that take up what it means for them to center student-centered families, but also partnering with 3Ls in ways that create systems that actually change outcomes in schools. And so for me, that win was like not a win for 3Ls, but that's a win for community. That's a win that says there's a program that actually works to change outcomes. It was happening during COVID. So let's be clear. It didn't happen in no bubble, but like during a time where everybody's like, there's going to be learning loss. All the things are going to happen. There was a principal who stepped up to say, I want to be in partnership with a program that actually is going to center the voices of families and students, that's going to be giving us solid coaching on literacy and leading in ways that actually support the community to see how they hold the work, how we actually be in partnership in a way that empowers and not like doing, I can't keep saying enough that we got to stop doing to community, to the folk, to Black people. Black people, we can kind of solve our own problems. Just name that, So I think some of the wins we had was just being able to listen to families. But initially, we didn't even have Saturday sessions. We struggled a lot to getting parents out on a weeknight, and then did a listening campaign. Imagine that, actually talking to people and getting feedback, something that, Vanessa, you and I talked about. Listen to the families, and families were like, what if we do it on a Saturday? We went from having about 10 families to having 25 families. Like, it matters to be in partnership. It matters to listen in ways that actually humanize and create space for folks to design with. And it's like to do different, like just do different, which is the work of changing the ways in which we see education happening, but not working.
I love that.
Working.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. And so for those listening, so let's say there's a nonprofit person listening. If you need to rewind those past 2 minutes, I want you to rewind it so you can hear, right? And so figuring out ways that you can work with the community, right, in helping to create that change. And even if you're a for-profit business, right, thinking about what is the change. I think there was a question that Dr. Bri, you mentioned that the teacher told you or asked you, but it's like, if you could create the best change in the world, how could you do it? Right. There are many different ways to do that, but thinking about how are you adding to the world and whatever it is that you're doing with your business. So I love that. And so let's get into more. So Dr. Bri, right, you mentioned, you said something like, I had no intention of being an entrepreneur. And here you are today, many years later, right? So what has been like maybe the top 3 keys to your success thus far as an entrepreneur, as the founder and growth expert of 3Ls?
I think I know what I'm good at. I'm great at learning. I'm great at being a learner and also supporting learning. I led the hell out of a school. I was a great teacher. I know learning. I also have an MBA, right? So I know business, and I've led whole schools. But and so like those parts of myself make this a little easier. Well, I'm also clear that I don't know entrepreneur. Like, there's a whole different lane around leading a school. Like, I mean, being a principal is the hardest job on the planet. And then I became an entrepreneur, and I was like, oh, this is a whole nother hard. It's a different layer of hard. And so I think one of the wins I've had is I'm not pretending like I'm going to be the magical entrepreneur I want to be without getting support. I mean, coming to you, I know you said this is about us, but like, I fully believe that me getting the support that I did from you when we are in the pilot of our program, and like having conversations with you and building my knowledge around strategic planning and really remembering all the stuff I learned in my MBA program. Because then when you have to apply it, it's a different thing from when you have to read it in a book and be in theory. I will say the other one is like having my knowledge, also getting the support that I need. And lastly, I'm not afraid to fail. But I will fail with community. I'm not out here just doing all these things and I'm gonna make mistakes and then I'm quitting. I'm not quitting because I'm in this and I'm in partner. My team are from Oakland. The parents that we serve are from Oakland. Like, we are in this together. We all want our kids to read well. We all want to read well. And so I feel like me being in community the way that we are, like 3Ls, the reason why we say one neighborhood at a time is because we fully recognize a neighborhood is a family. It's hard to go into a neighborhood and then say, well, they're this and they're that, if you actually haven't sat down and ate with us. You haven't had, right? So at 3Ls, we have fellowships. So on Saturdays, we don't just get together and do literacy learning. We eat. We like drink coffee together and have conversations. I think all of that is what makes the work that I do important, but it also is healing to me, because I wish my mom had 3Ls. When my mom was telling the principal that her daughter couldn't read, and they were like, it's something you need to do. You need to read with her more. She would say, I got 2 other kids at home reading. So clearly it's not something I'm doing. My baby needs help. And so here's 3Ls advocating for families. When a mom says her baby can't read and the system hasn't actually spoken back to that, the principal doesn't know what to do, the literacy coach doesn't know what to do, I can come in, my team can come in, we can advocate and be in partnership with the school. Not we're going to get you, but how do we design for learning? How do we design to lead in ways that are actually supportive of families to say, we don't know what to do, and the school could say, we don't know what to do, and together I can support them to do that. I think my strength in this work, or my gift in this work, is that my whole entire purpose is driven to ensure that every kid can read. I'm not in this work by accident. I'm getting emotional. I wasn't born to be an entrepreneur, I don't think. But I was born to ensure that every kid can read, that every mama knows that she has somebody she can ask, what do I do, and get an answer. That they never have to experience what I experienced as a kid not reading and my mom experienced as a parent not being able to support her child to read. That we do different by creating a model for what it means for different to happen, and not just keep talking and we're going to write another book and we're going to do another, but like, where's the space where there's a model for community folks coming together to ensure that the school gets the support, the teachers get support, parents get support, kids get support, and we are all reading. I teach a Zoom reading class now. Like, it's life to me to get online at night at 4:30 with my kids and say, all right, get your whiteboard. We're going to do some guided spelling. And then I give them the word and I say, is that the sound? Is that the sound you hear? Like, sound that out. Or teach them a new sound and they use those blends all in these other words. Or they read a story and they come from emergent fluent to fluent. I'm rattling on, but like, to me, this work is life. It's like, until you can't read, you don't know what it means to be in a world where everybody has this gift that no one gave you. Right? I always talk about it's like the keys to the city. Everybody around you got the keys to the city. They reading the billboards, they reading the shoe sign, they reading all of the things, and you don't have those keys. And you're just like, but y'all giving them out all over the place. Why don't I have the keys? Then somebody gives you the keys. It's like unlocking a whole new existence. And I got the keys one day and I was just like, I'm gonna make sure everybody got the keys. We all gonna go into the city, right? It's like, if Oz was a place, reading is that place. Like, get on the Golden Brick Road with me. Come on, Toto. Come on. Like, let's go. So we just have to create systems of structured literacy that create space for every kid to know how to read and every mama to be able to say, I don't know what to do, and get the help that they need. I'm tired of a world where we say 13% of our kids are reading, but we don't do nothing about it. We just keep arguing at board meetings and arguing in classrooms and arguing at parent meetings instead of creating something. 3Ls is that creation. 3L says the time is now. Like, if there's a school that says, I want to ensure that our kids are reading and that parents know what to do, and you better get on 3lstheacademy.org, get your help. Like, you don't go, you go to the doctor when you're sick, but sometimes you need to go when you're just concerned, like, to just get the checkup. I don't know,
I love it. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. I always tell people, I'm like, they're like, Vanessa, who do you work with? I was like, I work with people looking to make a change and a difference in the world, right? And that is why Dr. Bri Moore mentioned that we had done some work together, we've done some work together in the past, and in helping her with strategic planning. And there's a reason why, we did that work together, because, I love the mission, why she's here today. And so you see the passion that I see, right? Looking to make a difference, and is making a difference, not even looking, not trying, but doing it, right? Doing that which, she wants to do, and is even more in store. And so with that brings me to one of our final questions. So Dr. Bri Moore, what's next for 3Ls? What's next for you? What is sort of a focus perhaps of this year that you're working on, and how can people support?
Yeah, I need to bank $1 million. I really need to be doing 3Ls full time. But I also want to go into some other neighborhoods. Right now we have a strong foundational neighborhood, and then there's other neighborhoods that we need to serve. We also have principals calling, and so more and more we need to be designing for what are the additional neighborhoods we go into, but also create the model. What is the model that a school could just actually take up some turnkey materials to be able to then start and launch their own 3Ls? Maybe a part of it in their after school programming, maybe designing for what the principal leadership development looks like in a school district. Like, all of those pieces need to be created. And so what next for us is some turnkey materials that support schools and school systems to do this literacy work, and to do it so well that we could get away from celebrating when we have 2 percentage point gains on students reading. And also, I would love to have more community barbecues, community parties around literacy. We need to have more reading parties. Where's the community center that's like, and I know libraries exist, but like, I'm talking about the turn up that is all about my baby was reading, not reading, and now she is. Whereas, right? So I think more and more we're going to start to see shifts in what it means for all kids to read, because it is a civil right, and because what we see in this nation, what we see across this country, we see it with our county and our state superintendent, Tony Thurman, like the focus on literacy being paramount to the future of our kids, to the future of our communities. I see 3Ls at the center of that. I see us partnering with state and policy folks to be the change, to be at least a vehicle for or a model for what that change can look like. And I see it, I mean, like, so clear, so crazy. Sometimes I dream about I'm sitting at some state policy commission somewhere, and I'm just talking about what it meant to be a principal and a teacher in a neighborhood that I then started 3Ls in, and to see that neighborhood transformation be so empowering and powerful and liberating that we then went into 15 other neighborhoods in Oakland, and now we're in Seattle, and now we're in Atlanta, and now we're in, right? And so, and just internationally, what does it mean for kids to be able to read and families to be able to say when it isn't happening, what it is that they actually need and get it, right? Don't just say it, be able to have somebody respond to it.
I love that. I love that. Well, folks, you just heard from Dr. Bri Moore, founder and director of 3Ls, Literacy, Leadership, and Liberation, an Oakland-based organization changing literacy outcomes one neighborhood at a time. If you'd like to support that mission to help them get to their next neighborhood and the neighborhood after that and the even more neighborhoods following, yes, hop on 3lstheacademy.org, which is in the bottom of your screen, 3lstheacademy.org. Or if you're watching or listening to the podcast, watching the replay on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, then you also see the link in the comments or in the description. So after you give us a reaction about how much you love, the thoughts was insightful, or celebrate this year live episode here with Dr. Bri Moore, then also subscribe to the YouTube. And then you'll see the comments for 3lstheacademy.org. Go on and support and get in touch to learn more about how you can support them, whether you're in Oakland, California, or you're in a whole nother country, or you're in a whole nother state. By all means, there are different ways for you to support this effort in helping to change literacy outcomes one neighborhood at a time. Thank you, Dr. Bri Moore, for joining us here this evening. And for those listening, if you didn't already tell, this is your first time here listening, this show is not only about a story, but also about lessons and action items to keep you moving forward in the entrepreneurship marathon. We are here to equip and empower through education. Okay, equip and empower business owners through education. We have experts who will be even more experts coming to join us a week after week. So next week we have Natasha Livingston joining us on the new currency within your business. We have Ryan joining us on sales technology. We have Lisa Shermerman on the missing piece in your branding. And we have even more guests, including some other local business owners that will be featuring to help you and equip and empowering you through the entrepreneurship marathon. And so we thank Dr. Bri, yes, for joining us. And if you, again, 3Ls, theacademy.org. That's 3Ls, the academy.org. Yes. So log into there, figure out how you can support. You can donate, you can volunteer. Maybe you're in California. By all means, definitely join the team that is changing literacy outcomes and improving literacy outcomes one neighborhood at a time. For more on Entrepreneurship is a Marathon and how you can run that marathon not alone, then subscribe to our YouTube channel, red button at the bottom. Yes, right button at the bottom for more guests and more insights. And if you're thinking to yourself, Vanessa Zammy, I want you as my business advisor, or I want to talk to you about that, so then by all means, you're welcome to hit me up at power.vzammy.com for a complimentary session, 15-20 minutes. Let's see what's happening with your business. Let's see if I'm the right fit. I'm not the right fit for everyone. And you're not the right fit. You may not be the right fit for me. We don't know that, but let's hop on the phone to figure that out. power.vzammy.com. Until then, entrepreneurship is a marathon. And it's a marathon. You don't have to run alone. Okay. So you have a couple next steps. First, 3Ls, theacademy.org. If you haven't already typed that into your browser, do it right now. 3Ls, theacademy.org to support, to donate. And also follow Dr. Bri Moore as well on LinkedIn for even more insights on what's happening with 3Ls and to stay up to date. And by all means, ensure that you're moving forward in your entrepreneurship journey, whether you were born an entrepreneur or you just fell into it because you fell into your mission like Dr. Bri here. Make sure that you are moving forward and continuing to run that race. Till then, see you next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Toodles.
All right.
Thanks for joining us this week on Entrepreneurship is a Marathon. If you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or Spotify, or if you'd simply tell a friend about this episode. And if you're looking for more tips on reviving your business, make sure to visit our website, vzamy.com. That's vzamy.com. To register for our upcoming business growth workshop on staff management, financial management, and time management. It's your time to revive, grow, and scale. Visit vzamy.com. That's V for Vanessa, Z for zebra, A for animal, M as in money, Y as in yes.com. Visit vzamy.com